Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Impact Report for the 5th of January 2021. Can't believe we're in 2021 already, but we're here, and this is the first Impact of the year. Excited by it because of the involvement with AEW, and they do have some good talent left in Impact. They're a decent enough company. The opening video is a recap video of Kenny Omega's involvement in Impact, and how it managed to come about. The hard to kill main event: Omega and the Good Brothers versus Rich Swann and the Motor City Machine Guns. I hate the fact they're doing a 6-person throwaway match in a, I guess, the equivalent of streaming per view, but that's what they're doing and that's what they think is best, so it is what it is. Crazy Steve defeats Ace Austin with Madman Fulton, Blake Christian, and KC Navarro. Not a fan of this either, in the fact that the Crazy Steve gimmick is just that, a gimmick. Ace Austin's one of the best people they have in the company, and I don't agree with wasting him in a match like this. These are 4 of the 8 individuals who will be wrestling in Genesis for the Super X Cup tournament. And Ace Austin's back for the first time in about 30 to 45 days. Match is a decent one for Christian early on. He shows off against Ace Austin. Austin, again, one of the better guys in the company, and Navarro seems to gain a little momentum. Christian and manages to take him out and get all eyes on him. And then he gets a big near fall. Spanish Fly, Frog Splash combination. Cool to look at. Anyway, near the end of the match, everybody hits dives. And then everyone move. Crazy spin. Crazy Steve hits Navarro for the win. This makes Steve almost like a number 1 spot in the X Cup. I assume somebody good like Ace Austin will win the X Cup thing. The Crazy Steve gimmick is fine, but it reminds me too much of Doink the Clown meets ICP, and it's just kind of sort of wasted. Josh Matthews and Madison Rayne run down the Hard to Kill card, and then commercial from Tony Khan, Tony Schiavone. They basically take shots at paying for Impact and paying their bills to keep the company open. They run down the New Year's Smash card, and Khan taking shots at Don Callis and saying that he's the reason AEW was created. Khan is getting to be a better promo. I like him in the Vince McMahon Memphis style heel. I just hope they don't overdo it. Omega's boss, Omega, Anderson, Gallows, and Callis are they are basically gloating over their championships. Callis said that they were days away from Hard to Kill, and they'd have to win it. And Omega said there's no combination in wrestling that could defeat them. That's really, really cocky. And I'm actually caring about Omega being a heel finally. I don't care about him on AEW. I do care about him here, which is really weird. Cody Deaner and Joe Doring with Eric Young defeat Cousin Jake and Rhino. Complete throwaway match. Deaner shaves his head. That's part of his new heel deal. Deaner betrays Cousin Jake at the Final Resolution show and joins Young's stable of misfits. Match is the in-ring introduction of Joe Doring, who has done the majority of his major work in Japan. Deaner is off to go. They cut Cousin Jake off and work him over for a bit. Deaner is really vicious about the whole thing and manages several attacks and then basically acts like a deranged nutcase. Match finish, and Deaner hits a low blow on Jake after a distraction from Young getting the pin. cousin Jake doesn't want to wrestle Cody, and they keep trying to keep away. Young is about to pile drive cousin Jake when Dreamer runs out. Makes the save. Rhino runs off Young, and Dreamer challenges them to a 3-on-3 old school rules match at Hard to Kill. What a throwaway match, and it just is sad that, at least 21 years after ECW dies, Dreamer's still doing the ECW related stuff. Anyway, Gia Miller interviews Matthew Palmer about his challenge with Moose. He said he wanted to get his foot in the door, and he tears up Moose's shirt and says that was an accident when he did it. He says he's going to run the risk of risking it all tonight against Moose, and he would not go home in shame. AC Romano is investigating Johnny Swinger about Larry D being framed for Bravo's murder or the shooting. Swinger points his finger at the knockouts. Purrazzo and Kimberly come down to the ring. Purrazzo will be defending her championship at Hard to Kill against Taya Valkyrie. What a waste of Purrazzo here. She cuts a promo on Valkyrie asking what will be next once she locks on the Fujiwara armbar and hits the Costa Nostra. Does Valkyrie finally accept all that she's accomplished? Valkyrie and Rosemary come out and confront all of them. Taya says she'd make it easy for Purrazzo to understand. She's the longest reigning Knockouts champion in the history, and Purrazzo has had an impressive 2020. She's never faced her. Purrazzo says that Taya, her time has come and gone, which I believe is totally true. Johnny Impact and Bravo are gone from her side, and the only thing she can cling to is her record, and it's one that Purrazzo will break when she defeats her. Taya said Purrazzo is in fact scared, and she'll have to humiliate her and end the era as it sits. Rohit Raju appears. Chris Bay is with him. He says he forgives Bay for wrestling himself into the X Division title match at Final Resolution. Bay said he won and said he has it all. Everybody was captive, and the X Division title was his. And Rohit offers to keep working together to unmask Manik so the title can be decided between them. They walk in on TJP, asked him if he'd seen Manik around. Rohit Raju says he wants a tag match against TJP and Manik. TJP said that he and Manik don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, but he'll see what he can do. This is super, super simple. Havoc and Nevaeh defeat Jordana Grace and Jazz in the Knockouts Tag Team Championship semifinal. Surprised to see Jazz. Surprised to see Jazz lose here. I really thought they would give her the title send off, but maybe not. The second semifinal of the Knockouts Tag Team Championship Tournament. Winners of the match advance to Hard to Kill to face off against Hogan and Steels. Grace and Jazz defeat the team of Killer Kelly and Renee Michelle to advance. Havoc and Nevaeh defeated the team of the Sea Stars. Lots of power moves in the match, and lots of strikes and tackles and super big moves. Both teams switch control several times. They look even, which is good. Havoc and Nevaeh cut off Jazz, and then Grace and Jazz cut off Nevaeh. So basically it's a 50-50 match, which when you don't really have a strongly defined division, I think that's a good strategy. Match breaks down into a Tornado 4-way. Havoc pile driving Jazz for the win. Grace has been laid out with a choke slam just a few minutes earlier. Jazz looks to be one of the few times in the best shape of her career. And then it'll be Havoc and Nevaeh versus Hogan and Steels at Hard to Kill. I assume Havoc and Nevaeh go over that. And then that's kind of where things go there. Miller interviews Rich Swann, Alex Shelley, and Chris Sabin, who said that Impact is built on their backs and the backs of guys like the Machine Guns and wrestlers like Swann. Said they're not going to take this lying down, and said Omega and company think they can just come back and run the place. Swann basically tells Omega that the title on his shoulder doesn't say AEW because this is Impact and he won't allow other champions to come in and run over him. I assume this is going to lead to Omega eventually unifying the Impact and AEW titles for at least a bit. Shelley basically says they should head over to the bus and confront them. Swann, Shelley, and Sabin called Omega out, but they were jumped from behind, and the heels stand tall at the back of the bus. Backstage, Jazz looks for Grace, who apologizes and says she's frustrated with not being there for her at the right time. Grace said that she's disappointed in herself for losing and bringing back Jazz only to have her lose. Jazz said that it was all good, but that she's happy to be able to make an impact with the younger women on Impact. Grace said it's been an honor if she had another match in her at Genesis, and Jazz accepted this. Purrazzo and Lee asked James Mitchell if Su Yung is finally gone. Mitchell said Su Yung is gone, but that it's complicated and it wasn't Susie that was left out. And out came a well-dressed lady who called herself Susan, so they're giving her another split personality. Matthew Palmer defeats Moose in a 3-minute challenge. They do a pull apart, or the flashback to the pull apart from a few weeks ago, and Palmer tries to go at this. Moose nails a couple of bookends, cuts him off, and goes for the pin. Moose strikes and mocks and makes fun of Palmer, hits a big power bomb, and then nails the lights out. Willie Mack comes out to distract Moose. Palmer gets a roll up. And then, I don't even know. Ethan Page is having therapy when with Karate Man, talking about his career, getting derailed and taken away, losing the title. He blamed Impact and the roster, and he says that he got into an argument with Karate Man and challenged him to a fight at Hard to Kill. Karate Man is an interesting character, to say the least. Anyway, Matthews and Rain run down the card for Genesis, including Super X Cup, Jazz and Jordana Grace, Moose and Willie Mack in an I Quit match. Next week's Impact will be main evented by Rich Swann versus Carl Anderson in a non-title match, kicking off Wrestler Week on Access. Sami Callihan and Eddie Edwards go to a no contest. These guys have been going on it way too long. Their feud's kind of flat, but it goes back several years. Callihan and Shamrock have been chasing Rich Swann. Edwards comes into it again, re-injured Edwards' eye in the last while, and that rekindles the feud between them. Before the match, everybody's rolling down the ramp using chairs, barbed wire bats, baseball bats, and they brawl around the ring with weapons for several minutes, and the referee doesn't even get involved in the mess. Match officially starts, and 2 minutes in, the ref throws the match out as a DQ because neither guy would follow any of the rules. So basically, they did a bunch of spots for absolutely nothing. The whole thing was terrible, a waste of time, and a horrible way to end the first show of the year. There's no point in this feud at this point, and Edwards versus Callihan is just a stale feud at the point. Callahan's eye gets busted open accidentally, but it is what it is. That closes us for today. We'll be back with more right after this.